Hey everybody, we are back with Herbert, who you might know from Twitter as @HerbertOng or from YouTube as Brighter with Herbert. It's a great channel and you gotta check it out. He is known as the Milestones Guy, and if you didn't catch part 1 of the interview, it's up. There's probably a link in the corner. And today we're going to be talking about, the 2023 milestones. I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. Welcome, Herbert.
Hey, Brian. Thank you very much for having me yet again.
Yet again, same outfit. We're just the same. That's so weird. 2023. No milestones coming this year, right? This is going to be a short interview, right?
Well, this is the thing, right, about Tesla. I think that when you think about it, Tesla is such a company that sets itself huge targets, has tremendous mission, and is able to, accomplish so much. And so we, as people who care about Tesla, who is invested in Tesla, sometimes we think a milestone has not been achieved. We feel sad about it. We feel disappointed about it. But actually, it's because it's crazy progress. It's crazy that they even thought about doing stuff like this and moving along. So, is 2023 not quite as exciting as 2022? But as we covered in the last video, 2022, there's tremendous progress by Tesla. And so I'm creating the 2023 list at this point. And so if there's any milestone you think I'm missing, please share it. Leave it in the comments because I'll certainly read about it. But sort of this is what I've put together at this point. The kind of things that we are trying to expect to happen in this year for 2023 that's Tesla going to have. One thing I did not put in at this point is the price cuts. And I think I need to put that in because I think that is a major milestone that's going to be, it's going to turn out to be a turning point for Tesla. You know why I think that is, Brian?
No. Because it's going to put the competition in a position where it's impossible for them. If the competition lowers their price by even $1,000, they've run out of pricing discretion. They've got, and we know GM is aiming to be profitable on their EVs by 2025. That was what they announced before these price cuts. If they cut prices at all, they're going to be so far upside down, it's going to be ridiculous.
So I do think what you just said, right? I think it's a nail in the coffin. It's a checkmate move. And this could be the milestone, the moment in time when Tesla finally kind of like shows the world their margin strength and their ability to just wipe out the competition, right? But I also think it's very critical because of what it's doing to the way that the consumer thinks of Tesla. So they're brilliantly came out being seen as, the Roadster, the Model S, the most amazing technology on wheels, really just everything they do is top notch. So a premium brand. But now what if now when they did this massive price cuts, everybody who and your uncle knows that Tesla cut their prices significantly. And so in their minds, Tesla is now affordable. It's cost effective. But actually, if you just go back, dial up a couple of years ago, this was the same prices. I bought my Model 3 at the same price that they're being sold today. And so even back then, they'd already had the margins. Imagine what the margins are now, as now they've got these ramp up in production, efficiencies in place. So anyways, I think that it's important because it sticks into people's minds of what a Tesla represents. So we'll see if that's true.
Interesting on that. Yes, the parts might still be a little more than they were, but the efficiencies in the production and process probably more than make up for it. Sandy Munro was talking about that very recently. And yeah, we know that the interesting thing that happened over the last 2, 3, 4 years is every other car on the market has gotten more expensive. And Tesla has started reverting to what their old pricing was. When was the last time you saw a Mercedes or a Honda announce, by the way, our brand new cars, we're cutting the prices? That's not a thing. They don't do that. That's never been done. And so you've got, so everyone else has gotten more expensive and Tesla. And who was it? ARC that put out the price chart showing addressable market. And as the price falls.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. As the price falls, you increase your addressable market. Something like it doubles every, $5,000, $10,000.
Exactly.
And now the Model 3 is below the average price of a car, and the Model Y is right at just a little bit, a hair above the average price for any car. And so, well, yeah, but that includes, the Mercedes and the McLarens. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a better car. It's a better deal.
And when they find out that a used Tesla is now affordable because their prices have fallen significantly so that they can capture them, like you said, the price elasticity. And then when they find out that a used Model 3 has actually got so many new features that is equivalent to the brand new cars coming out because there's software updates, it's like, what? This isn't an old car, right? This is as close to brand new as it is. So,
and every older Tesla I've been in has been very well maintained, exceptionally well. The owners really care about them.
All right. So these are the 2023 milestone list. And again, if you have others that you want me to put in, please let me know. So obviously the big one was we were all waiting for January 1st when the EV credit for $7,500 goes into effect. But as we know, there's a lot of confusion at this point. We're still waiting for the IRA to kind of the government to tell us what is in or out. And part of what the price cuts have done is now every Tesla is going to be considered for that credit. And so I think we'll need to get clarification on that, and people will be just much more confident of what that means.
Apart from the S and X, we should mention.
Apart from the S and X, yeah. So Q4 production deliveries on January 2nd. People were disappointed despite the fact that we had 405,000 cars delivered. This is the first quarter with 400,000 units delivered. That's a huge milestone. We've been tracking that for a long time. People were, can't wait till we got to 400,000, which we did. But because of the mismatch between production and delivery, because of the China COVID and situation and potentially a softening in demand because of what's happening in China's economy, people reacted poorly to that. Again, if you look at it based on stock price, it was a negative day. But if you look at it based on milestone, it's huge. We're doing very well as a company. Another one that just kind of went under the radar is the Texas lithium refinery broke ground in January.
Sorry, I'm allergic to good news.
I thought that would get you because it's like this is huge, right, Brian? This is huge, right?
Yeah.
How big is it? This is huge. Wow. It could turn out to be the biggest news ever because energy is not only going to be larger than the auto business, but the entire world's going to be electrified, and you need lithium. And so this is going to be, Elon calls it unlimited infinity market demand, and Tesla is now a refinery.
Well, the weird thing about it, there's two kinds of news on it, bad news and no news. And those are both wrong. The bad news people are saying, why would they even get into it? It's a low margin, difficult business. And the no news people are saying, yeah, but it's just not exciting. The good news is Tesla said the only reason they're getting into it is because they have a breakthrough procedure that can do the same job at a scale hitherto unforeseen. They've got a secret sauce.
Hitherto.
Yeah. So there is a disruption there that they alone have. And you know how patents are. They're going to have that disruption for 15, 20 years, depending on what patent it is. So it is absolutely, it is a milestone that will be looked back on, and people will say, we did miss that one. We missed it.
He was asked this question at some sort of conference, and the guy said, I noticed that you guys got into lithium refinery, and it's going to, take 7 years typically for that to produce anything. And he said, and Elon said, our plan shows 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And the reason it typically takes 7 is because there's no rush. Everything is on a 7 to 10 year time scale for mining. But we're not a mining company. We're a disruption company. We're an automotive company at worst, but really it's about the disruption. So.
All right. Okay, so something exciting is about to happen, and I don't know if we should, as a community, get excited again, or are we kind of muted at this point? But in a few days, right? Today's Monday. By Wednesday, you're going to have the earnings report coming out. We already know what the production deliveries are. I don't think that this is going to do anything to the stock per se. But what's more important is the guidance that they give for the rest of the year. And he might actually be muted. He might say, hey, just in case there's a massive recession coming, if the Fed doesn't do what they need to do and we don't have a lot of trust in them, we're going to guide down. I prefer them to do that. I'd rather them do that today than still continue. But I think most people are saying that they'll just continue saying what they've always said, which is 50% guidance. And to be clear, we don't mean every year it's going to be 50%, but everything's still looking good, especially with the price cuts. They'll give an update on that, what happened to the last 2-3 weeks. But the good news that I'm talking about is what they're going to share after, not only in January with their record revenue, but actually in the upcoming Investor Relations Day. That's going to be the big potential important day for us to really follow up on that. And then before I get there, though, we do think that the FSD version 11 will finally come out. So this is a version that came out a few months ago, but it was restricted to just employees. And this is the supposed single stack, where the same software is now going to be used not only for the in-city driving, but also the highway will be moved into that, as well as the parking lots. And they've been working on that. And then apparently there's a lot of changes too, where the neural nets are going to be used not only for, kind of the driving the car, but also in the navigation and in the controls of the car as well. So I don't know what that means exactly, but I think it's things like never having to decide if the car should be drive or park or reverse. It'll just know based on the situation you're at what you needed to do next. If you needed to go reverse, it'll just say, okay, we're in reverse now. It's like things like that where the car will figure things out on its own.
And that's exciting, and it is big, and we don't know how big. Like all things with the FSD and the different versions, we can't know what we don't know. And for all of us who are not employees, we haven't really had a chance to necessarily see it yet. But this next one is the one I'm excited about. Go for it.
Investor Relations Day, I think, is going to be a big deal. So this is
What's
March
it going to be? What are we going to find out?
Well, I'll read you what they said on their press release, right? So first they said, you investors will be able to see our most advanced production line. Most people, as I asked them, are you excited about that statement? And they're saying, no, it's a production line. I don't know. Maybe there might be something there, but maybe we'll see robots on the production line. Maybe not. Probably not. Okay. But then they go, we will also discuss long-term expansion plans. So is that going to refer to gigafactories and megapack factories? They're going to talk about Generation 3 platform, and this could be the compact car, the robotaxi design. So both of these together could be the master plan part 3. And then they'll also discuss capital allocation. And that could be anything, but maybe that includes stock buybacks and other subjects with our leadership team. Yeah. So.
And the thing is, we can all guess. We can guess all day what's going to be at Investor Relations Day. And none of us know, but we know it's big enough that it warrants an entire event. And that is, if that's not exciting, and like you're saying with the factory, well, are you excited? No, because for 1 month I sold cars, and the classic thing is a guy comes out, he looks at the car, and the first thing he does is open the hood and looks under it. And I would say, yep, it's an engine. And I would say, what are you looking at? What do you see here? And they go, I don't know. It's just a thing I'm supposed to do. It's all hoses and wires and tubes and stuff. So it's an engine. So I think even you and I, who have a better understanding than the layperson, could go into the factory and look at it and go, it's a factory. Because we don't necessarily know what we're looking at. We could be looking at something. Yeah. We don't have Sandy's eye when it comes to that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am still considering going to the March 1st event. And what I would probably do is once again just host my own event, because
you should go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm thinking I should go host my own event. I know a number of people in Austin who would like an opportunity to have a meet and greet with their fans. I've got a bunch of stuff that I could give away in a raffle and all that, door prizes, you know.
I think what could be happening is interesting would be the Gen 3 compact car and the Robotaxi. I don't know if the design reveal will happen, but this could be the day, right? In the investor relations day, that could be the day when they share this. If they don't share the actual design, they're going to at least talk about it. They certainly said that. Compact, sort of the Gen 3 platform, which is supposed to be the half the cost, half the price, and half the amount of space in the factory to produce. And so, and then they've talked about having what is it? The sort of a, what was the word? A modular design. And I don't know what that means, but there's a lot of hints. And remember, they talked about this in last year's Cyber Rodeo. They really already start pushing hard that they're already working on the Robotaxi design. So it kind of makes sense that a year later, they're going to share with us. So could this be the thing that sparks? Yeah.
Yeah, I would really like to see them. What we talked about in the previous part of this video, the previous video in this series, was that I'd like to see them license something. I'd like to see them get a skateboard that they can sell to everyone. Because if you've got that kind of manufacturing distinction that sets you apart, make the most of it. And unlike most manufacturers, Tesla is chemistry agnostic and form factor agnostic. They use blade batteries in some cars, cylinders in others, pouches in others, lithium iron phosphate, lithium ion. If the battery has capacity, it can go in our cars. Let's just sell them.
Makes sense. I hope that that's what happens.
Yeah. So we've got some more items on your list.
Sure. So that's Investor Relations Day, but they also talked about long-term expansion plans. And so this is when I think most of us are expecting Master Plan Part 3. It's been delayed. You know, he said a few times last year that it's coming shortly, but I think he got distracted with the Twitter purchase. I think that some of the gigafactories might have been delayed. The macros affecting everything. So, can they delay Master Plan Part 3 till March 1st? It feels like they should at least communicate that, especially since they said that on Investor Relations Day, they're going to talk about long-term expansion plans. Seems like that's when they're going to talk about. So we should hear about the gigafactories announced. You and I have been following very carefully, and we've been hearing these rumors. Giga Indonesia seems like daily there's some sort of smoke coming out. Is there going to be fire there? Giga Mexico, Giga Canada, all of these were in discussion. At least one,
I would like to know who started the rumor on Giga Mexico, because I have not seen one credible shred on that, and I know I've gotten pushback from people who are very well respected on it. I haven't seen anything at all that would indicate more than parts would be coming out of Mexico.
Well, I rely on you to tell me, because I don't keep it as close an eye as you do. But gigafactories, they need to announce it. It's a must. If in order to hit your 20 million cars per year, you told me this already, your expectations, it needs to come out this year. If anything, just an announcement. You need to get moving, especially if Berlin and Austin are already well on their way, as far as we know it is. Yeah. But the big news,
on that front, real quick, so to continue scaling, the two, Berlin and Austin, are going to begin. Are going to continue ramping Y. That's going to get us a lot of that 50%, all of it for this year, all of it for next year. And then we've got the Cybertruck coming. The Cybertruck is going to carry a lot of that 50%. But 2-3 years out, we're out of market. The Cybertruck can't ramp by 50% every year compared to the entire volume of the company. And 3 and Y will be more or less tapped out once these factories are up and running. So we need new factories and new models announced. Like you said, it's going to be 2 years from groundbreaking to serious production. Yeah. It's time. It's time.
It's time. Okay. But actually, even more important than gigafactories, I think it's the megapack factories. And so this could be the day that Tesla comes out and kind of redefines what the company is about. This could be the day when Tesla is no longer going to be seen as an auto manufacturer. This is when they start talking about the megapacks. They talk about megapack factories. They talk about this big giant vision of, moving the world into a sustainable energy, and their outrageous goals of how many batteries they're going to produce, lithium refineries, megapack factories. And remember that it only took them 1 year to get the Lathrop factory up and running. And so it's something that they need. When I interviewed Randy Kirk, he said that these guys need to have at least 5 Lathrops in order to hit their 1 terawatt per hour goal, and per year. Like, they need to be pumping these things out or expanding like crazy one factory. So, this is going to be when they start showing this, right? A transformation of Tesla to becoming an energy company. And if you care about the stock, this could also be the thing that re-rates the company to be more than just an auto company, which is the big argument right now by the shorts. The buyback is something that people have been saying, well, we don't really want it. I'd rather put the money in the factories. And by all calculations, Tesla is making so much cash. They're producing so much cash that they can't spend it fast enough, even with all these gigafactories and megapack factories and all these inventions that they're doing. They can't spend it fast enough. And if you're a stockholder, this is something that's very attractive, because if you look at what happened to Apple, it was their buybacks on a regular basis every single year for the last 5-10 years. That's what made their stock rise so significantly. And if you do a cash flow kind of analysis for Tesla, they have the potential to do massive buybacks every single year in addition to all of these factories. So, people debate that all the time, but I don't really care about this buyback myself personally, but it's another potential for why the stock will continue to rise, because even they just continue what they're doing, it will be able to do it.
What Alexandra said about that is you can also announce the buyback and not do it. You can announce it and make it a thing that we are permitted to do in the future as necessary. And one thing she'd said on my interview with her, was that they can also, you don't have to buy it back in a way that destroys the shares, that erases them. You can buy them back in a way that holds them without voting power, so you can sell them again in the future.
Right. They can always bring it back if they needed to. So, okay. So this one here, 4680 in high volume production. Is it Q1, Brian?
No. But I'd say it's definitely by 2 or 3.
Okay. I was thinking.
And what is high volume?
Need to move this. Well, that's my question to you. Yeah. Right? I've been here. Yeah. I don't know what high volume is. I mean, that's part of the definition, because I think high volume we've been talking about is 5,000 cars per week is typically the number we've been using for factories.
I would agree with that. I think as long as they have enough to cover 5,000 Cybertrucks a week, that's fine. And that's why I think the Cybertruck doesn't have a second a backup plan with 2170s. I think the Cybertruck is 4680 or bust, which is why the Model Y in Texas can be made either way, so that if they've got enough 4680s, they could build it for both. And if they don't, then the Model Y gets the 2170s and the Cybertruck just gets the 4680s that it needs.
I think I'm going to need to move both of these, the Lathrop Megapack ramp as well as the 4680 ramp, down to further quarters. Q1 production deliveries, April 2nd. Some people are now predicting massive, record production deliveries because of the price cuts. We'll see. We're going to learn more in the next couple of weeks, but so far, early signs are showing that these price cuts worked, and it's delivering, literally selling cars like crazy at this point. We'll see. The shareholder meeting's been bumped up to May 16th, and my interviews with Alexandra, she explains why this is so critical and why they pushed it up. It used to be, I don't remember, but June, and several years ago was September, and partly because there is now the ability for, I think, board members to be voted out. Other very critical decisions need to be made. And so, by part of the reason why they're doing the Investor Relations Day is they're preparing the shareholders to be on their side when they decide to do the actual vote in May 16th. So they're going to be able to feel people out to see, some very serious kind of discussions might happen, or, points put in. The shareholder meeting on May 16th. And then, okay, right now I still have Cybertruck launch in Q2. At this point, was now January. We've not heard anything other than the Cybertruck is still on track. The most recent thing is we saw Franz being interviewed, and his comment was the design is locked down and they'll always continue working on it. But he just said it in a way that sounded like that everything is still progressing quite nicely.
And so I didn't hear Q2. I heard mid-year, which
mid-year,
is right in between 2 and 3. And
True.
I believe in Q2 we're going to see the test models out for testing, for road testing, for safety testing, for noise, vibration, and hum, for all that. And then in Q3 we'll actually see, I think we'll see deliveries in Q3, but we will actually start seeing them in numbers that are no longer prototype volume, for sure. And is everything still on track? Yes. The equipment is in Texas. It has been delivered. It is being put together and configured as we speak. Let me check. Yes, it is as we speak.
Check again. You got to keep checking. Check again, please.
Looks good. So it is. There is, and people, and a lot of people. Oh, it's not coming ever. It's a vaporware. Okay, man. Hey, don't invest based on these bits of information. And, for that matter, don't listen to us in your investments either. But my objective is to never take advice from people dumber than me. And I tell you, man, on social media,
you don't know who's dumb. I mean,
if they say that FSD is less safe than their 89 Accord, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoever convinced you of that does not hold you in a very high regard.
Right. They're not dealing with the actual facts of what we know. But so Cybertruck is going to launch, and certainly anything can happen. There's going to be delays, just like the Semi, but they produce it. You've got the design, you've got the prototypes, you know that it's not vaporware, like we said, and you've seen the gigapresses, you've seen pieces of this car being built, and it's just a matter of time that it's going to happen. So
the unsung hero in this is, to me, in a lot of ways, SpaceX. If you need material engineers, material scientists, you cannot afford the caliber of people that SpaceX has on staff. And there's a lot of cross-pollination. They get it done. I don't know if you recall, but when SpaceX first sent men back to the space station, mankind, humans, back to the space station, they got to the launch pad in a modified Model X, in a little caravan of X's, and that drove interest. The price cuts, you saw what that did to the Google search terms. The Super Bowl's coming up. Do you know how many ads for Tesla there's going to be?
Yeah.
Well, every EV ad is a Tesla ad.
Yeah.
And especially the other guys, all their ads are just branding. They don't sell you a car, they sell you the idea of a car. And Tesla actually has cars to sell you.
Yeah.
So
the one thing I'm possibly about this Cybertruck that could make it delay is that the comment that Elon has made several times, which is this is going to be the greatest product that Tesla's ever made. It's going to be chock full of technology, and it kind of brought back memories of the Model X that you just brought up, right? Sometimes you over-engineer, you want certain features, and you want to shock the world, kind of thing, and then that's the kind of stuff that could delay it because it's new technology. If you throw too much at it. So but the point is that even if it's delayed, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worthwhile. So
yeah. And when Franz says it's design locked, that tells me the design creep has ended. And I don't think the delays were due to these improvements.
Exactly.
I think these improvements were made possible by the delays. The delays were the batteries. The delays were the unexpected demand for the Model Y. They knew it was going to be big. They didn't know it was going to be so big that they would devote 4 factories to it globally, 2 in North America alone. I mean, there are, it's so much factory space for a single car. And
those are good points that you just made. Those 2 good points you just made. One is that you're right that the design, the comment that the design's locked, it means that they feel comfortable that they can deliver what they've designed. And the other comment was that it's already been delayed. It's been delayed by over a couple of years because of the COVID, because of the supply chain issues, and because of this tremendous success of the Model 3 and Model Y. They said, why are we going to redirect our efforts, focus 100%, on these 2? And so that buys time for the truck to be built properly. And so it's a higher chance that it'll succeed. It'll launch this year, if not
for
June,
technology
sometime
to catch up.
Yeah.
And like Franz was saying with the model, with the Roadster, he says, just think of how much time has passed and think of what has changed in terms of what's possible since then.
God.
And so maybe Roadster final specs needs to be on your Q4.
I don't put it in because I don't know if that's a milestone. It's not big enough in my mind to move any needle. It's just kind of like a nice, it's like a nice thing.
Yeah, even if it broke records at Nürburgring or some other legendary track, I don't.
Right, it's a marketing thing in my mind. Although I want a Roadster, I'm just saying. I just don't know if it's worthy of a line item here per se. So then, so we talk about Cybertruck launch, and then, there's talk about the Model 3 redesign. They're calling it, possibly, rumored to be called the Project Highland. It's a refresh of the Model 3, going to be cheaper to produce, and I don't know what features. We know nothing about this, but we think it's around second half of this year. And the Tesla Semi going to be the year. And just for fun, I threw in these 2 other kind of terawatt batteries, and the market cap is going to be greater than Apple and Saudi Aramco someday in the far, far future.
So the Tesla Semis, you're saying they're going to be making 150 a day by the end of the year?
I don't know. I threw 50. This was 50,000 per year was the milestone that I researched from all sorts of different people, thinking, did this not come from you? What is your target for Semi by the end of this year?
This
for 2023. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is run rate, right? This is run rate.
Right, run rate. Yeah. I would say by the end of the year, the run rate would be at most 50 a day to 100 to 75 a day.
Which is what?
Which is a third of that.
Okay.
Which is a third, because 137 would be 50,000 a year.
Weren't you shocked with when you were interviewed, and there was 3 of you guys being interviewed, and you guys all said that by the end of 2022, we thought there was going to be 8 Tesla semis. Do you remember this?
Oh, no. Who did I say that to?
I don't know if it was you. Yeah.
Because James, because I have a. Oh, was it me, James, and Tim Oracle? So yes. I have a source. I know how many they made. Because
but anyways, it semi overshot what everybody thought that they were going to do by the end of 2022. So you're right. Yeah. It may not be.
And they may not have delivered all 100, but they did make them. And I can tell you some inside baseball here. They are not making batteries on third shift right now for the Semi. They're basically only producing during the day. So those big numbers we saw in December, they've already scaled back from, and I don't know why. Because it's not for a lack of cells. It's not for a lack of orders. It's something else that they're dialing in before they ramp further. So that's another reason I'm looking at it and saying, run rate of 50,000 by the end of the year. Yep. Maybe no. So Herbert, I do want to thank you for giving me so generously of your time. What did we miss? What did we misunderstand? There's a lot of room, Herbert says, to improve those milestones, but we can't do it without your help. So leave the comments in them comments, and I'll certainly look at them. I imagine he'll look at them a time or two.
Absolutely.
Because he's got a. That's why his numbers and his lists are so good, is because he refuses to stop learning. And I say, Herbert, your brain's full. You got to stop. And he says, no, I will not do it. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Catch part 1 of this if you haven't already. And we'll We'll have you back. And check me out on Fridays at noon on Brighter with Tesla Herbert. Brighter with Herbert
yes,
on YouTube. It is so much fun. And every day he does stuff, and he's got just the best guests. I am so jealous of...
I wish you are one. Thanks,
yeah,
man.
I'm jealous because you get to enjoy me.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Brian.
Stay tuned, stay juicy, and we can't wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one.